Hail, hail, the Celts are here, and what the hell do we care now, guys? It is the Champions League. It's been nothing but disappointment so far. But like we've mentioned on the channel already, if we are going to qualify for Europe after Christmas, we're always going to have to do it the hard way around. And this week, we welcome the number one seeds in the group, Atletico Madrid, to Celtic Park, to Paradise, for the first time in certainly living memory, it must be said. And this has always been the tie when the group was made, where no one really expected us to get anything. And we all kind of knew that when it comes to this game, we kind of wanted it to be somewhat of a free hit. Atletico Madrid definitely don't have the armoury, the firepower at their disposal that maybe like the PSGs and the Real Madrids have of this world, but they're still unquestionably top tier, top caliber opposition, and it's going to take a lot for us to get something out of this game. In the video today, we're going to be looking at the predicted 11s for both teams, where the game could be won and lost, and just generally what to expect from the match overall. At any point in the video, if you do, laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel. We're pushing for 10,000 subscribers, and we cannot do that without your support, guys. We'll also be at attendance for the Youth Champions League game between Celtic and Atletico Madrid, so stay tuned to the channel for all that type of content and much, much more. And yeah, hail, hail, and let's just get stuck into it. As far as Celtic goes, I think the predicted 11 is probably going to be the starting 11 that we've seen play Hearts at the weekend, with Joe Hart in goals and a back four of Taylor, Scales, Carter Vickers and Johnson. The midfield three picks itself, of course, Hatate, O'Reilly and McGregor. The front three half picks itself with Kyogo and Dyson certainly, and Palma seems to be now making this position his own. But if this is the starting 11 that we do run with, the Palma position is one of the areas that I do worry about in terms of how this game is going to go and the opposition that we directly face. The predicted 11 for Atletico Madrid is going to be the typical El Cholo Simeone 3-5-2, 5-3-2, however you want to think of it, with Jan Oblak, who is easily top 3 goalkeepers in the world for shot stopping, for saving, for all the actual goalkeeper attributes, and he is going to be, you know, to Celtic fans, probably quite Fraser Forster-esque in terms of how difficult he's going to be to get past as an individual goalkeeper. But a back three in front of him of Axel Witsel, who will be a familiar name to a lot, Stefan Savic, formerly of Manchester City, of course, and Mario Hermoso. This back three, if you know any of them already, they are all quite similar in the sense that they are all dog defenders, where they're just going to be getting fouls, wasting time, breaking up the play as much as possible. They're all absolutely huge and physically imposing, and individually, you know, they're quite neat and tidy on the ball, and they can resist a bit of a press, it must be said. But whenever, you know, Atletico Madrid are going to be on the ball, this back three can quickly condense right back down and be really tight and really narrow, and that's kind of what we know them for, of course. On the wide areas, it's always been kind of suspect with Atletico Madrid over the years. They've always had Yannick Carrasco playing left wing back, and he mainly plays as a left attacker. And this season, it's been Samuel Lino who's predominantly played this position. With him being injured, it looks like Rodrigo Riquelme who'll be coming into this position, who is someone who last season played exclusively as a number 10 attacking midfield. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe roam throughout the pitch, depending on how the game actually pans out. But from this left attacking area here, I do think Dyson Maeda could have a great shift against someone like him, you know, in terms of when we put them on the defensive. But this is a guy that's super dangerous, and probably one of the most dangerous in quick transition and counter-attack. So he'll be on the left. And Nahuel Molina is much more of a kind of up and down the line right back. And I do fear for Palma in this respect, because if this guy is tucking back in and making up a back five, or even maybe even some sort of a quasi back four, I do think Palma, who has really struggled to get past every right back I've seen him play against so far, I don't think he's going to have a good shift against the likes of Nahuel Molina and Stefan Savic in particular. So I do worry about Palma, and I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't actually start this game and it was maybe someone like Yang, or Forrest, or Johnson, or something crazy, who knows. But I do think he will start. But I do worry one-on-one against these guys what he could actually do for us. The midfield looks to be World Cup winner Rodrigo de Paul, Koke, who's probably a familiar name to a lot of you guys, and Saul. Now, both these guys have probably kind of fell off in the last kind of 3 or 4 years, but this season, Koke in particular, Saul more recently, they've come into kind of an Indian summer, kind of second golden spell in their careers this season, and are very formidable opponents. And along with Rodrigo de Paul, these guys are really just wanting to be getting on the ball to then be able to play killer passes into either Griezmann and Morata, who will start up front, or any of these wide players who can come on and just create a mad counter-attack into the space that we might be vacating throughout the game for whatever reason, whether that be on the right with Molina or obviously on the left here with Riquelme. Now, Morata does get a lot of stick for missing chances and stuff like that, but this guy is an absolute predator on the final shoulder, on the final defender, and in the final kind of 12 yards. This guy, anything comes near him, it's going to be a shot on target, and you're then asking a lot of your goalkeeper. And Antoine Griezmann, as we know, is the elite world-class quality in this team that can really make the difference. He can score from anywhere. He can play world-class defence splitting passes as well to a number of these attacking teammates that will come on to support him in these quick counter-attack transitions. They will not attack in great number, but they will attack with great quality. And we will need to be very, very careful, because as this game pans out, the way Atletico Madrid will want it to be played for the most part is they're going to be quite happy to invite us onto them. And when this midfield and defence gets really tight and narrow, this is all they're looking for, is for us to be overcommitted in some sort of defensive area where the ball's pinging about, trying to, we're trying to open the door, we're trying to get shots away, we're trying to get shots on target. They can successfully win possession off of us and quickly from either like a Koke, a DePaul, a Saul, someone like that can play the ball into space for someone who's going to run on an attack. And it is so we are going to need to defend very, very resolutely. It's going to be very difficult because you have to marry up this keeping kind of deep enough where they can't absolutely kill you on the counter attack, because Taylor's quick, Johnson's quick, Carter Vickers and Scales can be okay, but Riquelme, Molina, and Griezmann in particular can be lightning off the starting whistle, as it were. So this is going to be a big night, certainly, for Joe Hart and for the whole back four that I think, so far over the last 2 or 3 games in particular, the likes of Taylor, Scales, Carter Vickers and Johnson have really became a really formidable and a really settled back four. And we've not really had that at Celtic over the last couple of years. So I think defensively this will be an amazing test for the defence, and it will really push them in every way you would want your defence pushed at the Champions League level, to really see, what are we made of and what can we do? Can we be calm on the ball? Can we control possession when the defence have it under great pressure from world-class players that, one mistake they're going to take it off you? And equally, when we're in possession and we get comfortable and we start to move up the pitch, we start to take yards back from them, if the ball does turn over, are we judging our spaces right? Are we judging the danger, the threat, and being able to recover successfully more often than not? Because quite frankly, there's not going to be that many opportunities against a team like Atletico Madrid, especially with the way we play, where we're looking to make lots of little, to keep it simple, let's just call it Barcelona-esque, where you're looking to just play like 1,000 passes around this middle area of the pitch, wait for one of the opposition players to vacate a position, create some space for someone else then to run into and create an opportunity. And Atletico Madrid just won't give you that space at all, to be quite honest. So we're going to need to get them really deep, and then when we get into that situation, we have to be extra brave in terms of the runs that the players are making. And one of the biggest pet peeves I've had with a lot of the Celtic attackers over the last 3 or 4 weeks, guys like Hatate and Kyogo in particular, and Daizen Maeda to a lesser extent, is that there's a wee bit of selfishness coming in amongst them. When you see the people who, when the penalty was awarded against Hearts, straight away there was a bit of deja vu to the last penalty kick situation in the Champions League, I'm sure, but Hatate took both of them. At the weekend, they missed there. So, I just feel that a few times they've been through one-on-one as well. They could be squaring the ball for much easier tap-ins and stuff like that. And this is a fixture where that stuff absolutely has to happen, because any team that beats Atletico Madrid, not just us, but any team, you're not going to get many chances. And the teams that do get something out of them, they take every chance that comes their way. And equally, because Atletico Madrid, they don't have anyone that's amazingly creative. They're not going to take 3 or 4 players out the picture from build-up play the way they play. If you can stay disciplined and resolute, you can really limit the chances they have to these kind of things we spoke about so far, as well as, our DP loves a set piece as well. He's good at free kicks and corners. So with the height they've got in the team, guys like Savic, Witzel, Hermoso, even Morata's good at set, been on the end of, free kick deliveries and stuff like that. They've got some very controllable routes to go, so there is a way of beating Atletico Madrid, which is, like I said at the tip-off, they've not got all the firepower in Europe that you would normally be scared to see when the Champions League draw is done, but it's more how formidable they are defensively, because we've not been taking our chances, and I do believe we'll probably create slightly less chances against Atletico Madrid than we have any other team, and it is really going to be about taking those chances when they do come up. Now, Atletico Madrid have scored 50% of their goals in the final 30 minutes of matches, which means in the first half in particular, for me, I believe the game is going to be really tight, probably, hopefully, in terms of as far as Atletico Madrid goes, quite low scoring. And this is going to be a game where the bench absolutely influences the way the way the game is going to end up, whether that be from Atletico Madrid's side or from our side, because with the 5 subs rule and the way that Atletico Madrid start with this 3-5-2, they can very quickly change as the game goes on to more of a 4-3-3. And, that's kind of the way they like to kill teams now, is they like to kill the clock, and then at the end of the game, turn up the notch, turn up the attack and get some subs on, get some fresh legs, and then, as I say, go a bit more attacking perhaps in shape. Whereas with ourselves, it's more about the subs that come on keep keep the tempo and keep the style of play going. So as the game wears on, we kind of need to have something in the tank already, because I would expect them to come out and have their biggest sessions of attack, their most dominant passages of play as the game kind of wears on, because that's just generally the way they want to dictate the match overall for 90 minutes. And when I think about those things we are just talking about, for me, this feels like a big game potentially for the midfield of Celtic, because guys like Matt O'Reilly and Rio Hatate have been doing fantastically well over the last couple of weeks and been getting a lot of plaudits. And like I said in the tip-off, it's been quite disappointing so far in the Champions League. There's no getting away from that. But their performances have been somewhat of a little, shimmer of a bright light. And ideally, if we're going to do it the hard way, we need to get some points in this game. And these are big game players in the making, both Hatate and O'Reilly. And with how ambitious both of them are, I can see them playing a huge part in the midfield battle with the likes of Koke, Saul, Rodrigo De Paul, and winning his possession and being extra creative in terms of playing the ball a bit quicker, a bit more direct, being a bit selfless and making the thing happen, getting the result over the line. Because our DP, Koke and Saul versus our three, I think we've got much better legs, much better energy, man for man there. So if it is going to be a real midfield possession fight off, I'm hoping that's where we're going to get a lot of joy in this match. And it's just then about, can Palma find that delivery if he's not going to be beating a man? Or do we find the right back out of position and he's got space to go into quite freely? And then Kyogo and Dyson just making sure that we're not missing any of those big chances that come our way. We're being selfless, we're making the most of every opportunity, and yeah, we're making them all count. I do think this game is going to be very low scoring. I think it's going to be an emotional roller coaster of refereeing decisions and cards and all sorts of stuff in between. But I do hope that we can get something out of this, because the second leg of this double header, we go away to that Wanda Metropolitano, and when these double header situations, if you're ever going to get anything out of them, you need to have some sort of victory in the first game to give you something to kind of cling on to. And I would hope to think we could get a draw out of this game. I don't think I can see Atletico Madrid scoring more than 2 goals at the very most. And I think with the amount of possession we might be afforded against this type of team, with the type of form and the type of talents we have, I could see us scoring 2 goals as well. So I think it's going to be a 2-each draw personally. Let me know down in the comment section down below what you think the score is going to be. Will we do the business against Atletico Madrid? Will we get the victory? Will it be one of those defeats against a pot 1 team that you just try and expunge from your memory? Let me know down in the comment section down below. If you're going to the game, travel safe, have a great time. And yeah, hail, hail, Mo the Hoops.